Hello, my name is Pete Marrero, and I'm the National Promotions Coordinator for DFW Norml, which is the Dallas-Fort Worth chapter of the National Organization for the Reform of Marijuana Laws. And we're here today with a special guest. This man has been on everything from BET to Def Comedy Jam, HBO, Jay Leno, been in movies like Soul Plane. And one of my favorite little trivia tidbits about you is that you were the voice of the Gadget movie.
Right.
Gadget.
Right.
That's my favorite performance of period. Everything.
I was high then.
Were you?
I really was.
We appreciate you taking the time to sit down and talk with us about obviously what we've been aiming to do, which is legalize marijuana.
Well, in Texas, good luck.
So obviously a couple states, obviously yes, Texas hasn't yet, but a couple states has.
Yeah.
I want to know, how long have you been a smoker, an activist, or how long have you
actually, it's funny how something I enjoyed turned into a level of activism. It just always felt like it should have never been a secret.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, obviously I wouldn't want to, I don't think it should have any more stigma attached to it than me having a glass of wine, or me smoking a cigar, or me having a drink. And I never felt like it was wrong. But then I think you start to hear these other voices that kind of made you feel like you could, I don't know if smokers come out of the clouds. They might come out of the clouds.
Right.
But yeah. But I just always, and then it kind of evolved into that, because I think it's just kind of the stigma and the kind of mystery of it is being lifted.
Now, speaking of stigmatism, now when you had your show, Hughley Breaking the News on CNN, you were depicted on there. It looks like they obviously censored the fact that you were making a purchase and you were going to put it on there, and it seems that they censored it. They took with stigmatism, and all of a sudden the show was ripped off the air.
Sure.
Do you feel that the show was ripped off the air because of that,
I think
or
that
they had premeditated notions beforehand, or you think it was because they had
part and parcel. I mean, I can't say that was the deciding factor, but we had there were a lot of factors involved, but it was the type of program I found interesting.
Well, you had a good vehicle to. I mean, what I really appreciate was the fact that you took the liberty to take that vehicle and push that, push the boundaries, and talk about it, and not be afraid. And then all of a sudden, it seems like they just wanted to pull.
Well, I think part of that is paranoia.
It's like you push their boundaries, and
yeah, but to me, and I thought that was part of the crux of the problem with CNN. We were just decidedly, we had different kind of ideas of what was informative and what was important, and I had a good time for a very long time, but it just all of a sudden became, I wanted to do that. I wanted to do things that I found interesting and important, and I think. It's just from that time till now, how it's ironic, because I was in Seattle last week.
Interesting. And
in Texas, Dallas, Texas this week. And just that continuum of experiences is so different. It's just so the ideas of what is palatable, what is acceptable is so different. And it's just like being from two totally different opposite sides of the spectrum.
Right. Were you surprised that since you're in Washington, with Washington and Colorado obviously legalizing, were you surprised that California wasn't first and that they were?
I wasn't. No, I wasn't, because people, it's Los Angeles and San Francisco. Everything else is Bakersfield. Everything else is Texas. And we're a huge agricultural state. Whenever they grow stuff, they usually don't grow a lot of tolerance. And I think even the anti-marijuana movement, the bastion of it was California. It kind of started it. It named it marijuana, as a matter of fact. So
you can kind of say they're kind of the pioneers.
The pioneers,
for the most part, right?
They were the pioneers of activism years later, but initially, how it got its name, how it got the stigma attached to it, was driven by California. It was because it was financial at first, and they tried to depict it like it was pot smoking blacks and Mexicans, and it was just and so the stigma of it, and the idea, the mystery of it, and the kind of boogeyman aspect of it started in California. So it would have been poetic if had it kind of started to erode there too, and it did to some extent, but not. We just take it as far as Washington.
Now you went to a clinic. Are you a patient?
Yes.
Okay. And what are you a patient for?
My back, and my glaucoma, and my hips.
Okay.
And I have several ailments that require.
So do I.
Yeah.
Yeah, we won't disclose all of them. I have to.
They vacillate. They
rotate.
Yeah.
Yes, I get polio on my little toes sometimes, and I need to smoke.
And it's just it's funny, and people really that aren't aware, almost everything that I have an element for. Like if I can't sleep, I know what to smoke. If I can't write, I know what to smoke. If I can't, if I'm in a little bit of pain, I know what to smoke. If I'm not feeling sharp, I know what to smoke. It's people don't. It is a lot of, and now science is even starting to come out with medical data that backs up a lot of what we're saying.
Right, which is great. I mean, that definitely helps the cause. Now, speaking of what you smoke, what does D.O. Hughley smoke on?
I like sativas a lot.
Sativas? All right.
I like. And they have all.
Yeah, got all flavors.
Kind of flavors.
You got a specific flavor that you like?
I like grape. I like. It's this new. Well, here's the thing. Okay. Oh, this seems so subversive.
You can say whatever you want. There's no censorship here. There's no censorship here.
My thing now is I like sativas naturally because I like to function, be creative. But I smoke this thing.
Sure, that's the real.
Right. Yeah, that's what it is.
Okay, I was gonna say.
I smoked this thing in Dallas. I mean, not Dallas, in Florida, and it was. I forgot what he called it.
It was that good, huh?
It was so great, but so strong.
Oh man!
I had to really be like.
And it was just regular, wasn't a concentrate?
No, it was a concentrate.
Oh, it was a concentrate.
But it was.
Okay.
And when I was in San Jose, I played a gig in San Jose. A lot of those cats are cannasseurs. They treat that like wine. I mean.
Oh yeah.
And I have a cat who mixes a blend, whatever. You know, kind of if I'm having a hard time having writer's block, he'll put me some stuff together, and it actually as prescribed. It really does what it's supposed to do.
So he's a weed pharmacist.
Yeah, like I have a hard time I talk really fast, and we were doing a special reset, and they were gonna prescribe me something to slow me down, and I said, fuck it, no. And before we did the thing, I asked the guy, I said, send me something and he sent me something, I smoked it. It's the best special I've ever done. And not because I was high, but because I was so focused and sharp and clear that it's the best performance I've ever had.
Excellent. So of all the places you've gone to through all your travels, where's the best place that you've gotten some random, rather than your guy that specializes in?
BC, British Columbia.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
British Columbia.
Well, who had the worst, in your opinion?
Probably Texas.
Do you want to put them on blast?
Probably Texas.
We'll see about
Probably
that.
Texas. Probably.
Oh man, that just hurt our feelings. We might have to prove you wrong.
Probably.
This interview,
Probably.
sir.
No, just but not here. I was probably in El Paso.
Oh, that doesn't count.
Yeah,
that's a lot of my cousins. They're part of Mexico anyways. That actually,
I was like,
they still
what is
river,
this?
man. They don't count. Really.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Yeah, that's a whole different breed of people there. So, what do you got going on right now? Besides, I know you're gonna be on Jay Leno tomorrow.
I'm gonna be on Jay Leno. I'm hosting Addison Cooper with him Friday, and we have an announcement that'll be coming out in about 2 weeks. Actually, I'm working on a FX, a series for FX and an animated series for Fox. Nice. It'll be about how I grew up, so I'm excited about that, and I'm really kind of happy about what I see happening in the country. I think that there is a real movement. This really is not our father's America anymore, and I think that's better.
Yeah, like you were saying earlier, it's not as taboo anymore. It's not as stigmatized. I mean, there's certain regions that it still is. You still got those people that are gonna be hardened against it. But at this point, it's not. It's more social to where we can discuss it, we can talk about it.
But look how look in a very short period of time, people really kind of have not, I think, grasped the gravity of this. In a very short period of time, attitudes about all of these things that were so taboo in our country have changed. And I don't discount the fact that that marijuana is in that kind of discussion. It definitely is in that kind of discussion. People are thinking about things in ways that they never would have before.
You know, I was watching your interview with was it Ronald Brooks? How do you tolerate doing interviews like that when there's just so much blatant, I don't want to say ignorance, but that's pretty much what he was displaying. But I'm glad that you showcased him, because it put him in the position to where, I mean, he just had to eat his words through the entire interview.
But you know what's funny? You never learn by not hearing.
Exactly.
And you can be like, I think that everybody has a level of respect that's due them, and also some things that they can teach you. But I think when I try to talk to people, I try to be a mirror. And I think the best way to see yourself is obviously a mirror. If you want to lose weight, if you want to gain weight, it's optics. You have to see yourself. And I think that when you have that kind of attitude and approach to having an argument with somebody, even if you disagree with them, I think that serves the lines of communication better than trying to convince somebody that I'm right or that they're wrong or that they're wrong and I'm right. And so I think it's just kind of just being a reflection of who they actually are. And I took that approach, and I try to take that approach with the people that I disagree with the most.
Yeah, you did a fine job. I commend you for that, sir, because I was just like.